Aleka Chamoile, former president, Jammeh Minfo, come off on Yamin Drong, Ansu Prof Badjie be studio to Jang Halifa, Anisani, among Futanam, Barimbe Michael Dila, Ansu Prof Badjie, Pura, Madingal Conto, Moma be Lamoikan.
Badauzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah hamdan kaseeran tayyiban mubarakan fihi. Be jamamul be kontona fem fendi yalla koy be la moy kan be kontona di lungola talata lungola anim fanam be APRC kanutel be kontona His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Badjie Jammeh Babil Mansa mba kontona mba tentula mba jayla anim fanam mba tentula nyin kamako ay wacilota kaitandi mulla ko abina lungo minna wala abina la karo minna pour que sey nan aya mimo gambio bankoti woto mba tentula mba jayla be duwala e fanam pour mi satna se futanan jang kayra ay sabati jang kayra ko gambienol jakarta minna e jikita la nyami pour mi satna se murna ay sabati kayro kono inshallah
abarka bake Ansu Prof Badjie comme nga fanya min don bismillah programme to ngaje go former president on Friday jandabe any declaration o kala ning announcement o kala ko be murlana ne so ay audio do funtini min ay mi jitan je wolem aka yemol pardon ne mi yalon ko ay expel party to o woko ite ko je nyaadi le
alhamdulillah rabbil alamin bayri be ngalo His Excellency multi mi yalon ko ay bala fasoto am multi mi yalon ko ay munyono am multi mi yalon ko koku hanna tra koliyata nyaaw nyande atekala balwoni koku landi alla silol la and mole mi yalon ko dino ya sabatinde nyami akabara walla nyiti ko molse ya fanyola ani ku jama mi yalon ko dino ya fo akabara walla wota nyin kamma ay mol mi yalon ko kuleketa inim patio tema kuleketa mi yat na fuyi wo mol bay aka yamfude be ma pour mi satna se murnano patio kono komin i dalta tar la patio kono nyami ye tente wo nyama ka ke pati de ngote bara natna mi sabatinde je wala nyiti ko nendro dum amal la fala anu nendro anene mal la fala biring ameta sa wati aka pati dingol address minna ka foyinde ko alkana nendrol ke alkana nyo kajafi alkana nendro ke alkana kajafi roke momodi ibe barala mi minna ise barani tonyala yebo ku jaw barolla
kuma tabake former president ya Jammeh I mean for wolem abe murlana banko kan janne bari jamal ko iman la fo be kelare because dorba for in fact even a valid passport president former president Jammeh ma soto abe mulana no banko ka nyaati because abe dami ani Gambia dulale mi yalon ka jam fatale fo dum pleno andum amam valid passport fang soto so moko nyimu kulete mi yalon ko dron aba focus don to remain relevant in the Gambia's political scene pro I relevant drong wala tina be nyum ko mo fona bare kule mi yalon ko atekela
mbalo mol se la diamo fono drong mom mondi mi yalon ko a cijo ya fara wala mol mi yalon ko nene man jiginu ko president Jammeh be burla nan jak bi ni wol nata moy ko president Jammeh ko abinale definitely kuma be kuma to iba fola watra itol fawni nata yenyine ka aliye mo ne fo iba fole ne ko makalamta wala ni ko yenyine fo aba fole ne ko hani ndema nyin kumo fo woto molle mi yalon ko ko wol kanyin kuma sifal fo ni nata yenyini ka itor yemune bara nyim banko ka wala munayat na imalla wala definitely ite kuma valid kumo fo noma
so ite lata le ko abe nala
of course president Jammeh abuka fo ten aya bay na mim fo drong alon ko ababar la of course and this was the fengole mi yalon ko mol meta la moy la mol meta ka jiki nyilungol la ko aseme nyaaw nyaabe silal anu nyilungo felenti anata si banko kanjang aning abe tembo minto inshallah rabbi next month ngalo preparation is in high pour mi satna se fotanam banko kanjang inshallah
so il after fulal be preparation or lato
of course we are in the preparation
ka maman date di lungo mi yalon ka be mulana banko kan jang ako the interim party leader lebo announce la and the like ya mira munati na man date because he go na nin tonya la lafta na la no nyanta date le dila because mba je kan wudol ba safe kan on the 25th and the like for all be mu tonya tiba
abe mu dia multi mi yalon ko molle ka fo don bare nte jigida minna wala nyinti ko the national executive mi yalon ko I will entrust to run the affairs of the party and that of his own issues in the Gambia here will come and give us a date. No matter hani mol se sobino wala mol sa moy iko bare min seniata fa seniata wala nyinti ko ni national executive ya fo mole nyi lunkari ntolbe lari wolungola bare fanan mbe salon ko sama tenti mbete momito samabe bankan be sonta nyina ko samabe bankan bar nga lonko ase me nyaaw nya fana samabe na le ko teke woto jambelana ntengaje ko min ko sama bay balolem
okay kule mi yalon ko keta ngaje ko Jamal ya safe ngaje mari jobati ya ko the coming of tyrant Jammeh is nothing strange. Automatically he should be received by the IGP with an arrest warrant at the foot of the plane. Jammeh must have prepared for that as a matter of rule of law, as he was mentioned in an inquiry for heinous crimes. Kule mi yalen ko ya fo bari ngaji jam fana the agreement mi yalon ko ya Jammeh all the time aka mention ne ko wala keta ay Halifa Sallah fana fo jere ko ako agreement was signed le mi yalon ka sort of with AU, ECOWAS and UN. Following the decision of the summit of the ECOWAS authority taken on the 17th December 2016 in Abuja, Nigeria, mediation effort including visit to Banjul were undertaken by the chair of the authority of ECOWAS head of state and government, His Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the mediator, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, the late President of Nigeria and co-mediator on the Gambia. His Excellency former President John Dramani Mahama, who is now the current President of Ghana, along with His Excellency President Ines Bai Krumah, the former President of Sierra Leone, to mediate on the political impasse with Sheikh Professor Dr. Yahya Jammeh. Second, following the further mediation effort by His Excellency President Mohamed Abdul Aziz of Islamic Republic of Mauritania, that's the former President of Mauritania, Mohamed Abdul Aziz of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, and His Excellency President Alpha Conde, former President of the Republic of Guinea-Conakry, with His Excellency Sheikh Professor Dr. Yahya Jammeh, the former President of the Republic of the Gambia, and in consultation with the Chairperson of ECOWAS Authority of Head of State and Government, the Chairperson of the African Union and the Secretary General of the United Nations, this declaration is made with the purpose of reaching a peaceful resolution to the political situation in the Gambia. 3. ECOWAS, the AU and the UN commend the goodwill and statesmanship of His Excellency former President Yahya Jammeh, who with the greater interest of the Gambian people in mind and in order to preserve the peace, stability and security of the Gambia and maintain its sovereignty, territorial integrity and the dignity of the Gambian people, has decided to facilitate an immediate, peaceful and orderly transition process and transfer of power to President Adama Barrow in accordance with the Gambian Constitution. 4. In furtherance of this, ECOWAS, the AU and UN commit to work with the government of the Gambia to ensure that it assures and ensures the dignity, respect and security and rights of His Excellency former President Yahya Jammeh as a citizen, a party leader and a former head of state as provided for and guaranteed by the 1997 Constitution and other laws of the Gambia. 5. Further, ECOWAS, the AU and UN commit to work with the government of the Gambia to ensure that it fully guarantees, ensures the dignity and security, safety and right of former President Yahya Jammeh, immediate family, cabinet members, government officials, security officials and party supporters and loyalists. 6. ECOWAS, the AU and UN commit to work with the government of the Gambia to ensure that no legislative measures are taken by it that would be inconsistent with the previous 2 paragraphs. 7. ECOWAS, the AU and UN urge the government of the Gambia to take all necessary measures to assure and ensure that there is no intimidation, harassment of former regime members and supporters in conformity with the Constitution and other laws of the Gambia. 8. ECOWAS, the AU and UN commit to work with the government of the Gambia to prevent the seizure of assets and properties lawfully belonging to former President Jammeh or his family and those of his cabinet members, government officials and party supporters as guaranteed under the Constitution and other laws of the Gambia. 9. In order to avoid any recriminations, ECOWAS, the AU and UN commit to work with the government of the Gambia on national reconciliation to cement social, cultural and national cohesion. 10. ECOWAS, The AU and UN underscore strongly the important role of the Gambian defense and security forces in the maintenance of peace and stability of the Gambia, and commit to work with the government of the Gambia to ensure that it takes all appropriate measures to support the maintenance of the integrity of the defense and security forces and guard against all measures that can create division and a breakdown of order. 11, ECOWAS, the AU and UN will work to ensure that host countries that offer African hospitality to former President Jammeh and his family do not become undue target of harassment, intimidation, and all other pressures and sanctions. 12, in order to assist a peaceful and orderly transition and transfer of power and the establishment of a new government, His Excellency former President Jammeh will temporarily leave the Gambia on the 24th of January 2017 without any prejudice to his right as a citizen, a former president, and a political party leader. 13, ECOWAS, the AU and UN will work with the government of the Gambia to ensure that former President Jammeh is at liberty to return to the Gambia at any time of his choosing in accordance with the international human rights law and his right as a citizen of the Gambia and a former head of state. 14, pursuant to this declaration, ECOWAS will halt any military operation in the Gambia and will continue to pursue peaceful and political resolution of the crisis. This was done on the 21st of January 2017 in Banjul. Nyinde be UN ila agreement auto. Yenye agreement o jenyami panjak lafta embaringol kontong ile tabakele. As the spokesperson, I don't know what is the problem anyway.
Yo, assalamu alaikum, baringol ngal.
Come close to the mic.
Assalamu alaikum, baringol ngal kontong ngal tentu ngal jay. Contendro Mbafalo la Jumala, His Excellencies, Professor Dr. Alhaji Yahya Abdul Aziz James Junkun Jammeh, Babele Mansa, Mfangola Mentolemo, as former President of the Republic of the Gambia, Ka Kontong Abe Equatorial Guinea. Nabota wala drong Mbe Momodia Faitamba Kontong as the interim party leader of the APRC, under the leadership of His Excellency Babele Mansa, ka kontong anala National Executive ning na anin na MP so mu make kontong Council of Elders na chairman kabojang fo kata fo diaspora momo mi alon ko keta Babele Mansa kanun tete keta banko din kendo tembe kontong na ka fe ko assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Anal bari malem Halifa Ijaju Panjak, the spokesperson of the APRC.
Okay, baraka bake Halifa Jarju. Okay, nganying agreement nyong read right now from the UN website. What is your take on this agreement? We all the time I'll mention agreement also totally and the like, and then how can you break it down for us to understand?
Baraka bake nyemu feneti mi alonko akumata bakele with regards to agreement is an agreement. Ngachilo bakam fang donki lala do bijela fanga kan for agreement na agreement. So whether even in the court of law whether some people are claiming the authenticity of that agreement. Claim because if was not that agreement, probably Jammeh would have not left the soils of the Gambia, and then that could lead us to something else. But the man of peace, the superpower of peace, to allow peace to reign, anata kamneje kajeko kabanko bula. Bairi agreement onying asafetale afango ntoma afango menzani ka fami honorable Halifa Sala dol ka fay onko Halifa Sala PDOIS to mention. So ngamira journalist signing should be your responsibility to make sure that you get to him alianinka with regards to the speech that President Jammeh gave according to that. But signing ni nata agreement ofang ya Jammeh Babili Mansa amanke fang ateni Mansa kunda tema ya Jammeh ning AU UN aning ECOWAS so ECOWAS AU and UN mini along ko wole nyim facilitate ngamira wole nyanta ka Gambia Mansakunda Konkong ka foy ko ngamin safe nunde ngamin fonunde wato sitale bayri sanying ke ba ma fango min keta His Excellency mi atina nganying agreement o sanying aparetale bayri ay lamoyro kele amanna fe moy sanyate fango aparetale. So mol dol bijele min ka foko he should have engaged in baro and he was ifal no atanya daga juma nyolle engage wolle immediately because any more you speak to that person directly provided that the mediator ECOWAS AU and UN so ani wolle be deal gang wolle ba make sure la wolle be Adam Barobunda konkol la ka fa ko wato sitale so then ibajala ko the same way they intervene they should be the one to be ning atara justice.
Okay, because in March, Justice Minister the denies knowledge of any agreements between Jammeh and 2016 coalition 2016. Ako ate ma agreement oje. So this agreement, some people ka fogo maybe ni agreement mo kuleti mi yalong ko still Molman Lara.
Signing Akamuka, that shows how ignorance, a justice minister for that matter, a primary school kid from I know that there was an agreement. So that shows that he's exposing his own ignorance. Because Atefang he should be in a better position. Momi Alonko, you are well equipped when it comes to and conversant with the laws and not only the laws of the Gambia and international laws and human rights and wasifa. And a man who always advocate for international human rights and wasifa. So now woje ntolbaje la ko konnante ale baje kaje ko a personal grievance against His Excellency Sir Professor Dr. Alhaji Jammeh bi natara nong abadi ngole benong the same condition he would have been the first person pour ka fego to authenticate that document. So mbafla ko Dawda Jajo, with due respect, mark your words yela cool fana jibe yaje ko nyimbabe limansa nying agreement is not even about you, it's about Jammeh and the EU and the UN and the ECOWAS. So signing, I cannot diamo dole. Ate diamo the authorities, the facilitators, this agreement is not recognized or this agreement is not binding. Then you see what will be the outcome.
Okay, Panjakite, what is your take on these agreements and then Jammeh's possible return? Mi along kabinale ika. Comme for Jobate Fanaya Senendeko, Najita and Drum, Inyanta Aresla at the foot of the aircraft, to answer some of the charges against him because the TRRC recommended prosecution. Yes, you.
Okay, Mbalo, always in coming for Drum, Madi is irrelevant in the Gambian politics. Likewise, my own political issues. When it comes to APRC, Madi is not relevant. Because madi multi mi alon ko benga long ala political faith momenti and momi alon ko itele nyanta kala ko itemu human right advocacy ite nyanta kala multi mi alon ko you are independent in anything that you are dealing with.
But so I love that for madi is not independent. I'm not saying ko madi independent.
We all know madi la political be
because madi ka opposition on male man secunda male.
No. Madi issues mi alon ko ay UDP affect akadiam woda mala. Madi be wala
nabe
Madi Kadiam Fengo Fenna, Aloneko, it will either affect UDP or it favors UDP. Madi Kadiam Wodamal. We all know it. Ni more means Santa Tonyala, we would accept that. You understand? So Madi, I can say.
So he left out for Madi is a UDP sympathizer. So he left out for Madi is a UDP sympathizer.
Of course, Madi is UDP sympathizer. And in the same info, no. APS Nkol Madi is a minor thing to us. Madi isn't relevant in our politics. So until bad ni mintula wale nyituko ani Westfield police will drop. Until ngani woletu. Any issues to deal with Madi. Mbemi mfono la ni Madi ko inyanta ya Jammeh arrest la. Mbemi mfola wale nyituko ni ya Jammeh belan la. Afongo ya try I target as a human right so-called human right activist. I target drop. A try pour que ya Jammeh muta nsemi mfono ateka minul aka fo minule ko wol nyanta president Jammeh fango mutala yalong mbalo let us go straight to the point juma wolle be president Jammeh mutala that is the question aka min fo wala nyindi ko IGP nyanta president Jammeh mutala IGP na la police ol minul ka bori mo la mi yalon ko ay mulu ñoya president Jammeh yela police station o bulam police station o mi yalon ko banko dingol le a loye banko dingol le koy ko ngasembo di yalla pour et cetera non ñindi grato wol yetara je fo moy na mi mulu ñoya ta yaaya Jammeh la yela police station ol bula wo mol sita pour ka president Jammeh arrest
kule mi yalonka abe sotoring hani president Adama Barrow ya fugo amanla ko president Barrow president former president Jammeh be murlana nyum banko kan because ako ningo be murlana nyum banko kan abama banta wato minna anyanta non nala wo watol lafta ngaw lamoy drone demanding drone ngamurna sanja
again they pleaded with me. Yes, I was told of all the plans, and I told him I am out. They were shocked when I told
President Jammeh, Lara Nyandana in Bangkok, Yaima Fotare don't delay. Abama Father Wado, what to name Mako, Father Odekala, what am I going to know? Come what you put Kabiri Samoni Keda. Ila mai adara ndebe Togo har kanko president ko Togo onno yatra equatorial Guinea be bango men do equatorial Guinea tula ko wonto ndani o president be meeting dula kilimo kanko o president ko duli be dul wadi ko meeting dula goto ay o telephone o wadi on call ako mbama bande o ya nene am president de jan hari membe kuro kila jara maso do hayu loto do furo hebaki do lafita no puriye mako ko mi fara wala yepi am president baro a hala president baro ay yam fanyi o ya farambo ay so mbama e muruna ngambe na o jama nene rute kambe be wada be su wada do sutura kabra o kila bula we kila on nalan mo president hono wotara diamu West Africa president molli o ya yo halani West African president ni wondi do no diga Ghana la president ani o diamu ta Ghana president mabbe holli dem Nigeria la president ani o fran diamu Nigeria president kanko no gari hanka kabra ko mo fuloli kila halani be imbediro o dam man kachata be tambe yewti ko man jere ngal ngata president baro ya jarar me ya president baro akoto mabi jawlam president Macky Sall kono makko no on president Macky Sall ngata nga fo we be ya me halana ondo idada ya fo we be ya halana ondo idindula wen kumani on dere on mitino on notimo akonye ko nyin kursi fa dine keta o yi ko sifa o hunde wadi de jamme be dani rola jamme no toro do ma ikabe ko mokan way me wulla alafta ba may muruna o fala nene mako arta masala ko nyako nyaadi masala yi president baro anko nuyida nga ya jamme ba ma man ku kenna way ya jamme nene mako wadan mo hay hunde am yango le ma tan ko bido Gambia ni pare de praena so de bari pro ara masa kundanya de lola dawda be lola labu kala tanne ko be foti darde be dare nene mako ara isonta praena muruna ko jabi president baro yi o jabi nene mabbe yo aw bari harama de mo si hakilo de kono bani adama foti accudi hakkilde bibe keri hande no wadi bari sama mina ko jango kadi are o sama men mina on jango aro ala kulli halin men be nala o nyande dara imalo hay goto anda mol faru no bango e banda inde ko be mayno tagal leji yara te president yala hari on to ko kanko no president Bakar Balde ya nadi fo bono ari ha bona sabido aka fure de o fure natatande le makalo fada kala fure o ba may o fure makko natata do kuko samba sanya afada kala furo o mai o fure makko natata do ate o julo men dun kanko o nyamande ko wadno inde la ben wodum do julo mi tabulo mi fada ndenya mi yoba do nyamande o do jamme o fonko mo nyanga to ben kanko ala ko foti halde jo nyanda bengel wala kanko ko foti wade ko du wani aside o fanka asikairo do Gambia o jere wala na ke tam kaira ke le Gambia o membe Gambia France kairo so on kay wonde on jam wonde Gambia kam kadi heba lamira to nyanta wala ke ay mi fiku president jamme ko do foti wani.
Okay, wole keta mi yalango President Adama Barrow ya fonyin kuoto ko former President Yaya Jammeh nyanta daylale. The only thing he can do a day I Cairo dua banko maybe ning banko e Cairo so that wana be Cairo sotola kule mi yalonko senendi and mo fana mo Jamal be ni banko kam mi yalonko iman lako former President Yaya Jammeh mulla ni banko kam because TRC recommendation ye kole senendi ko inyanta sambala kitiola because am hadama ding nyanto ay wala tinyani banko kam so ku sifal bebe lara kungoto so na nata ni banko nga itima mira ko comme mari jobate e min fo isa arrest no ya sindi dulakili ya samba kitio
yo abaraka bake coming akamunta ko Gambia lam drong bare madi lawo diamo sifal madi meta wokela janne even before kabir wato min president Jammeh be yande o tontol ngamin suuti ato wala nyenti ko abuka diamo nin londo la fanna la bare aka diamo coming momi alon ko kule ba kon kam fato molem ye president Jammeh ya envile inyabota fe wodronnem bare na bota wala madika kuma kango min foten this is not even between president Jammeh aning Mansakunda is between ECOWAS, AU, UN will million ko will mediate will be president Barrow fees la ka faya ko sanying wato sitale pour babine mansa agreement o gamin fe
mari namal wol consult right now akabe murlana banko
bare foyte amira ya Jammeh bala underground works minna so anyanta kanale findi public afoko ha ni UN diam tale wala nintenden munati nan kabri wati jama ama announce aman wato time frame di because he was doing his own thing he was doing it when is between him and ECOWAS and AU And don't want it and no naranga kalamdano ko ECOWAS
if at all there is any agreement between him and ECOWAS or AU, well, for declaration, okay, announcement, okay, we have agreed with Jammeh with these agreements and so on, so he is coming back on so. But man fen moy wala Carola, so. Mosa Mirano, maybe he just want to take his own decision.
Sometime I want me back here. Nothing I can't talk. ECOWAS not only they have what we call closed door meeting with the president.
But you don't. It will confirm no local.
No one of thing. So you know,
but this is something different. Me alonko banko bele kole me alonko anyantanala. Because
ndolga mi long wale mnyentiko. Mansakunda ya alone ne ko ning Babili Mansa step his foot in this soil of the Gambia. It will political agenda, la political career, especially now that the NPP is down. Because people munat nangawo for hand signing. Babili Mansa Mullatala, I support this totally. Hand signing, you know, people are loyal to him. Because of money, amanke coming academy bare munekera wolem nyentiko ay banko do ko nyamen hand signing wo be mol bulle. So we cannot forget about that. So hand signing it will yalon ne ko ya Jammeh is still relevant. What is that medanong ika finti ika kachal ke ka foko ya Jammeh kanya is no more relevant in the Gambian politics. But it yalo right now with this commandero minketa on the 26th last week Sunday is along ko
but Jamal Ole for ya Jammeh just want to be relevant in the Gambian political scene because walati na being move keka. In fact, ya Jammeh aman taranaka. It's like it's not
a man who is already relevant, wanting to be relevant. It only left ka discredit poor kajako he will not be relevant and that's why they set up the TRRC to tally him and to paint him black. But yet still waketako buluko jambando right now in Safoeko among the ex-presidents Mume. You cannot compare them with the Babili Mansanata popularity hand for signing. Imagine 8 good years coming to 9 years, hand signing every day Walter Gambia at Oleka for go check the social media. You know, Barofango, he gave a chance to Babili Mansa. Munat nang Hansan Dol, we are still loyal to Babili because the people of the Gambia, they lose hope in the coalition government and especially Adama Barrow. Mi alonko ning atanung Doko Babili Mansa Minke focus to fight corruption and was sifal. Natano Woketa, Bankudingo be Ibajela Loko, because Bankudingo Solata mi alonko Abenai Dogoke, because Gabakudingo from Nata Jelako, they are not secure in their own country. That we've lost their sovereignty. So all of these things, kuka ke jangi kaje ko he mulka fo ho ne babele be jang du atekela fayte ba ko moy. So signing ntolanga mi vunglo wala nyentiko I just want to go straight to President Barola deliberation that I mean ke manka mankunda with regards to Babili Mansalana ntengalonde nyum kumode ya faya kan ne pour asafo.
Ya fire kan
de pour asafo. Bare c'est même fono woto wolem nyentiko president Barrow ate fango yalon ne ko among any right soto pour ka jeko ka mobali ala citizen yala ay wolon ne so woto wo is automatic pour ka jeko Babili Mansa na diata e wato wati abinala le so anala speak ko do ite fango ya jela akama bale de afango yo fele natar no nga fele ko ha no atina ala jang fine but he will come until Mambalang as militants. He can mean for prosecute well, it's up to if you have against a case against him, lodge your complaint. And President Jammeh, Muliante careful al bake. But he's a man me alonko, he ruled this country for 22 years. And Jammeh is not ignorant of the laws of the Gambia, especially the 1997 constitution. Jammeh is not ignorant of the international laws. So he knows definitely what he is doing. So mota falako amalanga coming from. So abinalale inshallah ndol as militants be wolungale batugang according to atefango ya fonyamen shortly announcement of ekela with all the necessary details ka joko ngata ngabe.
Bari iko former President Jammeh mumala kairoti wolem ay to Equatorial Guinea because amanke Gambia damale sula tala. Even Ghana, ila Mansa Kundal, Fanan Sula Tala, with the 44 Ghanaians, Miano, TRC, Yala Kumol Foje. So, Ikala Cairo, I Taraji, Wolemala Kairot.
Nano Mojamal Bijele, what they wish Jammeh is William Yentiko, I found an Equatorial Guinea, but ni Alasonta Wotekela. Jammeh is going to come and told us, genuine Gambians, definitely we will love to see him here, and we are ready for Kataka, welcome. And the Wofana Mundola Nyantolti. pour kaje ko gamoje nga kanu nga sute nga kanu babil man sa ay kule ke Gambie mi alon kon tol fana net nyina lola avec tare ko kona hani se bang ay ku do gule nyim banko ka so for that being the case ntol ba support la woto nyala kam ba fasa la wala kam so nani momo min dunta nyola o itela right lem pour kaje ko ka su because atol ka cool min justify with TRRC one man here say in fact which is not a court you understand it's just a commission to find the truth and being alone some of these revelations within the TRRC defan ka jibe fan kalon ye bare nyiwo kan akamen fo ani silo fa ngamanda ani nyin kamen fo fan is not practically possible you understand so sane e nyanta ka mene ko fo ande Gambia government baro fo nyanta ka kontanne simply because iko elafta ka kitindi e nyanta ka fa silo be bi nana bare sane alka lafta ka mo min kidina naka binala le atol ko hani atinala manyana nala yanti ke dela then how sincere are you people mo formol belala then there must be a hidden agenda and looking at the agreements ni nata ya jume the 14 bullet points ya Jammeh agreement obe a barely fulfill sane ning akamanda ko we will keep on suing ni asu court atafana eba masakunda sula court ala bagasol la because according to the agreement you call ala bagasol mi ala ko he acquired them lawfully should be protected masakunda ye wokela bang under the watchdog of who the president that is Adam Barrow so afana he have things to answer so nyeng wokan I babel mansa ayna ni ba kitindela silo felenting bismillah
because you accuse the embezzlement min banko kan some of his properties mi yalonko amasoto nin silola maybe walatina ala bagasol tablo because it's like banko le tam wolti
okay Sanye, can you tell me that can you justify that a president mi yalonko who ruled for 22 years a president mi yalonko he ruled this country for 22 years amam by school of ngosoto can you justify that wo maketo nyati yala fengol beleta and in fact the commission because of they were just hungry wolves mi alon ko ya kam titale pour gaje ko ka babil man sala fengol ta ka kude you understand because me lekata commission on na lota e nyanda non they should be able to distinguish between what he lawfully own and what he doesn't lawfully own but they didn't do that so it's like they just jump on everything so isalan ko akamunta ko we know them we know the type of people they are and ngalon ne babil la ko beto ye nyame ntol as militants that will not change us until we are still loyal we choose loyalty over royalty no amount of intimidation no amount of harassment that will make us to quit supporting or our loyalty to Babil Manza and hanna kana airport bidala jele kaje ko ka welcome
iko hani valid passport amasoto ngana Prof Ansu Badjie Prof Ansu Badjie comme nga fo nyamintro iko what awaits Jammeh is persecution and then kule mi yalonko mo jamal ba fo kan activist be funti kanne bala human right violation o fo kan mi yalong aya kenyim banko kan kule mi yalonko iko what awaits him is persecution so ala taro je ikotore gine wala mala kairoti so it namune la fala ko
jande be potalo the water there are things that you said here that went untreated I have to go back to them ye MOU fanam fo jang ni mo agreement on mi yalon ko president Jammeh ni masakunda ni ECOWAS soto no jang ni nata ya jibe what agreement on it was categorically ignored and abandoned it was violated by the Gambia government. Likewise, the international organization or Minulialonko wolle ni President Jammeh Sontani agreement olla memu ECOWAS AU and UN will be about lately. You understand?
Human violation.
Okay. Yena ya jibe. Mbalo ni nata President Jammeh la seo la panato ifango ya red janne ni manyina it was number point around 13. I think it's around 13.
Let me check.
Which one?
Around 13. Ala return. Ala return.
Yes.
Min fotaje was very clear. As I say na no wato minna I appeal kominko anyanta seilana. That was the agreement. And
but masakunda ka wala fole ima bali seola jang.
No, ila moina. Yes, ima bali seola. Ima bali seola. Bare mune bati na mulba fola ko anyanta sarla karla manyan anyana sarla karla. Minuli yalon ko ani wolle agreement o soto. Wolio agreement o ta ya tinya ila ta tinya la nyami. You understand? At their own comfort. Now, ite ni moli agreement o landi. al d'accord sal mume ya sign yemol kina pour ya sign at the end of the day alia valet wokola halis nya killing e manna pour ka ko address publicly Ntolunga petition of Sapejan to ECOWAS, AU, and UN, and likewise the Gambia government. Did they respond?
No.
Did ECOWAS respond?
No.
Did UN and AU respond? They did not respond. They only maintained silent. At the end of the day, Nadanga UN representative Moy Akapoko, Gambia Masakunda mo Adam Barola Masakundalti, Wol Malafi Minna itol Tefenko enology. Na mo jande yapo. So what is the essence of them having an agreement with him? You understand? This shows that they are.
But I mean for them to
no, but it only
forced Adam Barrow's government. No.
Mbalo, they could have taken him back. Bring Watomina Ibidouring, bring Watomina Ibota sit at Senegal, bring Watomina Yedaniru, Yemolkina Priya Dani, Ntole Side Ipeja. Na agreement all land the promise na as a Bobankoka. What will be Kuoku Mimbekela, Abekela Tolten Kango Faila. Now, ECOWAS is irrelevant to the society. AU is irrelevant. UN is irrelevant in the political arena. You understand? Because Nina Yajibi ECOWAS being in the Gambia, Bissau, and other countries, ECOWAS manual minke. That shows that they are not relevant in our society. You understand? Wobe Jammeh agreement on means and Yaitan Leko Jammeh Nyata Seilanang at his own choosing time. So there is no condition me alonko anyanta lalakang. Yes, that is clear. Okay, again to the point of Justice Minister. Kumol Mim Foko Ate, he was not aware of any agreement.
Any agreement, yeah.
That man is not oriented. I can tell you, he is not oriented. He does not know his left and right. Now left and right long. Definitely that minister Badjie, he was there. He should be able to know where to get the files in order to go over what had happened, what was agreed on. As Nati, I am oriented with that. But unfortunately, Mbengamoy, Biriye ya Jamela Bagasol Wapijam, Apamotata to the National Assembly, ya pressure as Kaiko, Kaitul Finda, Kaitul Finda, Ako. Ni Kaitul Fintitanang, Abekela Molumi, Sandroke, Abekele Doya, Kualti, Abekela Kudo, Bi Mune Labanta. And Yaninga Kuma Jamala, I am at Futata Jamanson Tonya Fola. I build the Yamokono. One ni nata ni wo mari nata ko bi abe kumale fola molie banko dingole. That man shouldn't even be there. But it's because of President Barrow ama option sort of because he is not aware of things. Walayat na ibatula jele praitaraje as justice minister. But in serious nations, a minister like Dauda Jallo shouldn't be there. Okay? You come back to Barrow's statement. This is what I've always been saying. Barrow is never oriented on things regarding the nation. Anum Barrow nyanta nango fango control abe kuma kango mimfola. Barrow should know that abe fengo fe mimfokan akafo banko to yalla. Amanya na sila deliberately I will not draw I kuma kango for me alonko abe mol dundila nyoto abe atna molie campagne kan. Yes. Anyanta lon na nyimmanke musol la banta ba kachati. Anyanta olonal Barrow nyanta lon ay
President Barrow yemin fo kasi
bijele nyadi Barrow should be respectful enough pour kala predecessor respect sakotuma la wulula mim banta Barrow should be sitting at a banta ba kapogo wala ay simiti noto kapogo bira ba ma banta aketa President Jammeh be kumbola anyanta ofolal. That's disrespect. And he should know that now President Jammeh disrespect, most are disrespect. As a long be
no, you cannot say that to the president. You cannot say that. No. You cannot say he is the head of state. No,
he is the head of
mind
the
your
state.
Words, mind your words.
Sorry.
No, Barrow position of Edam, you cannot be saying such.
Jammeh was there before Barrow.
Yeah, I know.
Jammeh was also head of state.
But no, please. Nimu radiolity, please.
Anyway,
President Barrow is the head of state and he's the commander in chief. Please, you cannot be here. You cannot be here on this program and them saying such. I cannot accept that on this program.
No, but
I know what I'm telling you. I'm what I'm telling you. No, but the word disrespect, I don't want it.
No. Then I President Jammeh respect. Yeah. Let him respect him.
You can say
because President Jammeh tarlaje. What I respect. You understand? But now I respect him. Hey, film malti, koi malti. Now for Benyami. You understand? Anyanta lona ko nyimbota jele jallate.
Yeah, Prof. Ekamu for akumatale, but coming yalam radio lem.
Yeah, nyimmu ke online to mi yalam. Radio to mi yalam ko mo jamale kalang. And then kudol
no, the thing is, you know, ntol manna here purkanda kamfada hitande, but coming ala statement no, I mean for ala sota ntolbe woleta la ka make sure ka hitande la kuluro nimbunya. Remember, President Jammeh ko, his pronouncement, wo manya nakatina APRC militant soul, we take the law into our hands. Let's be law abiding. As patriotic citizens. So I will follow so akamunta kontola alpha fango buka song pour kaje ko kamo disrespect suru naketa alpha la. Fine. Is a disrespect no, is a nen no. Tol finance jabiro keno, but when it comes to the head of state, he's all our head of state. Baro aketa nyawanya, whether you like it or not, he's our president. But ndeka menyitanda President Barola wala mnyentiko. Jammeh la nafang word ole matela kairoti but ata lonna simply because mol mi yalanko wolle be bamburungate koma wol bajela ko Jammeh maybe is a threat or so because wol bajela ko maybe possibly the man I have fame means soto na nata that may end it will be benefits all means soto the people on
ila fola dolle be man sakunda kono mi yalanko Jammeh la nati febola
because maybe possibly they are saying that definitely Barola a government a lot of people are enjoying when it comes to corruption. We've seen that corruption scandals. So they will see Jammeh as a threat possibilities na nata, for example, misali fi na nata aketa mole second chance yala again. Akamunta ko wala domota, you know, when it comes to corruption, we know how Jammeh drastically address those issues of when it comes to corruption. You will be either be prosecuted or be jailed. So if I tell you almost
but nada corruption ola fanala. Jammeh fana you guys corruption jamale kedi. Iko Jammeh la ku ate da malika corruption okay. Wala man sakunda he's a crop leader.
I love the coup de me alonko, you know, I care. Especially Nanata health la Carola, Nanata to buy some of the dialysis machines and X-rays and he doesn't compromise where the money come from, whether to take a due process here, understand? So because as long as the money is being taken from one department to another to make sure that for the benefit of the Gambian people, so I see it as something that is lawful. So with regards to a lot of scandals reports on me along looking at the audit reports and it was about under Jammeh's watch you dare not usifal hanata mambalang corruption obekela but abekela on a very low profile letter but signing ngaminje wala nyende ko baram la masakunda mol fanka nganya corruption wala so it's quite obvious that some of those people will never want Jammeh to come.
So ite latale ko President Baro Abinale
President
Jammeh, sorry.
Yalonte ni interjibe kabirinte day one fang. What was the reason?
The lines all open na le inshallah.
Te kabirinte day one. Te lata le kabe murula nanne. Wole atin nam fang ni nata the name. That's how it came Panjak. I was never called Panjak before 2017 or before the departure of after the departure of President Babili Mansa. That was this name arise for the fact that nga dalilo le soto ngajiko soto ko inshallah abebeti ala le nanata babel mansala karola APRC la karola because mo jamal tata le discourse kale hani ka ya jamela t-shirt of ngodung ibuka hani